Welcome to the WTR Small Cap Spotlight Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Gerdeman, Vice Chair and Co-founder and Chief Marketing Officer of Water Tower Research. In today's podcast episode, I'm being joined by Jim Deller, CEO of ClearSign Technologies, NASDAQ ticker symbol CLIR. ClearSign Technologies develops and sells patented ultra-low emissions burner technology for industrial systems like refineries, enabling ultra-low NOx emissions without expensive post-combustion equipment. Also, colleague and WTR Senior Energy Transition and Sustainable Investing Analyst Peter Gastrike. Good morning, Jim and Peter, and thank you for joining today's podcast.
Yes, good morning, Tim and Peter. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Jim, for those listeners who may not be familiar with ClearSign, would you please provide our podcast audience with a high-level overview of the company and its corporate strategy? And I also always like to ask our guests to provide a quick overview of their professional backgrounds.
Certainly, yeah, I love talking about ClearSign. So we normally describe ourselves as a industrial technology company, but I think for the audience, it probably makes sense to peel back the details. We sell industrial burners to clients like oil refineries, petrochemical plants, a gas production plant. For those businesses to make their product, they've got to heat the oil on an oil refinery, and they do that by passing the oil through a series of pipes that loop around what they call a heater. So think of that as a large multi-story building that's basically a massive oven. The oil passes through those pipelines, and then the flames in there are very high-tech, intense flames. And those flames are made and controlled by burners. And that's what we do. We make those burner nozzles that go into the flames. The industry is driven by the need for clean air and low pollution. So the high tech and the development is the way that we control the fuel and the air and the mixing. And by doing that, we can control the chemistry in the flame and reduce the pollution. And at ClearSign, we can get that pollution down to exceptionally low levels. And that's the value that we bring to our customers. We have patented IP. We're a small company. We're publicly traded. We leverage that IP and then work through a series of collaborative partnerships and sales channels to actually distribute and to make the product. Tim, you asked about my background. I've worked in this field all my professional career. I've got a PhD in the relationship between flame structure and flame chemistry. I've got an MBA from the University of London. In 1996, I moved over to Tulsa, Oklahoma from the United Kingdom to join a company called CLIR. CLIR is one of the big three combustion equipment manufacturers. They were purchased by Honeywell. I worked my way up through that company and ended up running the global CLIR business for Honeywell until joining ClearSign in 2019. Many people ask me why, and the simple reason is I've been involved with and overseen the development of many burner technologies through my career. ClearSign technology was the first product that I've seen that offered a radically different and game-changing way of controlling the combustion that I saw as providing the opportunity to develop some truly valuable and much-needed technology for our clients and to build a very profitable business.
Great. That's a really helpful overview, and I'll turn it over to Peter to ask some very specific industry questions.
Great.
Hey,
Thank you,
thanks,
Tim.
Tim. Hi, Jim. So could you please talk a bit more about ClearSign's technology? Specifically, what are some of the advantages when compared to competing technologies, and how should we think about the benefits or how to quantify these benefits, for your customers?
Yeah, so we are really in the business of pollution control for refiners and petrochemical plant and the like. They have to meet the new regulations, and those regulations continue to tighten. The regulations are formed to minimize ground level ozone. The EPA mandates that a clean air, and to keep up with that, they are constantly rolling out and requiring that tighter and tighter regulations pushed out. Our clients, the refineries, the petrochemical plant, have to comply with those regulations to avoid fines or to continue their business or to expand their plant. ClearSign has a very different burner technology. It is revolutionary, and we can get down to the emission levels that typically the industry would have to buy what they call a selective catalytic reduction unit. Basically, it is a chemical plant that would have to be built into the back end of their heaters. When they use ClearSign technology, they simply don't make the NOx in the first place. Very simply, the way we do that, without getting into the weeds, there are two chemical mechanisms for forming NOx in industrial flames. The standard burners of the industry really focus on one of those chemical mechanisms. What's unique about ClearSign and what attracted me to the company was the ClearSign technology actually allows us to address both of them. In terms of value to our customers, one of our recent orders, the initial engineering for a refinery in California, they gave us their estimate of the alternative cost them. So their estimate for them to install an SCR to fix one of their heaters was between $40 and $60 million. Our estimate of their costs for going with a ClearSign solution is somewhere in the region of 5 to 10. We just don't make the NOx in the first place. So we're a much more economical means for our customers to comply with the very latest generation of NOx emission requirements.
Okay, thank you. That's very clear. It appears that you'd have a lot of opportunity for, adoption across industry. So, but how would you characterize the addressable market for this ultra low emissions burner technology?
I mean, it's growing. I mean, our clients we talked about, right? Our clients are huge. The global oil companies, the global chemical plant. We sell into the gas distribution industry. We sell into the upstream oil industry. So at the big level, it is a absolutely massive market. When you get down to the specific market that we're addressing today, right, this is the revolutionary ultra low NOx new emissions. My estimate in the oil refining and process industries, the petrochemical plant, there's about 100,000 burners installed in the regions that need these new ultra low emissions. The majority of those are going to be in California and Texas. There's some in Europe, but the majority definitely here in the US. Being realistic, probably about 20% of those, maybe a little more, will need to be converted to meet the requirements of the new regulations and be appropriate for ClearSign technology that we have today. To put some numbers to that, a single ClearSign burner sells in the region for $100,000. So you're looking at a market of 100,000 burners that need to be addressed in some form today. Maybe we get 20 to 30% of those at $100,000 a piece. That's just with the technology we have today. In addition to that, we have burners now getting out to the gas industry. We have flare products going into the upstream oil industry. We have thermal oxidizer products going into the renewable fuels industry that's selling for about $500,000 to $1 million a piece. So it is a very large market for us. And as the regulations continue to tighten around the world, that market grows. And as we expand our product line, that opens up new markets and processes for us to address as well. So to me, that's the immediate market today. I really see that as something that we can grow as we develop our technology and as the regulations around the world develop in time.
Okay, great. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of market for you to go after in the years ahead. So, but if we reflect on the company's journey, from proof of concept to commercial deployment, could you talk a bit about some of the key steps and milestones that you hit along the way? Additionally, I'd be interested to understand what strategic partnerships or collaborations have been important in driving that transition toward the broader market adoption.
Yeah, I think it's good to understand, right, looking at the transition of ClearSign and where we are, it's good to understand that journey. So I joined the company in 2019. We had a few minor installations at that point, but really bench scale technology. And we set about a path, but there's some clear things we had to do. We had to leverage our technology. We had to do that in a way that did not require huge amounts of capital. We're a publicly traded company. We're very careful how we spend the investors' money. We had to develop technology in a commercial form. That technology had to be easy to use. It had to be easy to install. But very importantly, we had to work out how to deliver that to the customers in a way that met the standard industry requirements. That's very important in this industry. We have to demonstrate the products firing at full scale as part of a typical order. And you have to manufacture in shops that have been certified by our customers. So to do that, we're talking about the key milestones. We moved the company from Seattle to Tulsa, Oklahoma for a very specific reason. Tulsa, Oklahoma is the place where about 80% of the world's process burners come from. The companies that manufacture those burners, headquarters are in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where the industry started. We needed the expertise, we needed partnerships, we needed the vendors who are used to working in this industry. We relocated the company to Tulsa. With that, we formed a collaborative partnership with one of the big two companies in the industry, with Zeeco Inc. Zeeco is a giant in this industry. They're a billion-dollar company. They manufacture around the world. They have offices around the world. They have the biggest test and demonstration facility in the world, and their manufacturing plant is certified, I believe, by every refinery and petrochemical customer in the world. We formed a collaborative partnership with them. Their shop and their test facility is now 20 minutes down the road from our office. So in terms of very significant developments, that collaborative partnership has been fundamental to ClearSign. They build our products, our clients know and trust Zeeco. It immediately gives us credibility in the market, and they're able to demonstrate our products in their facility, opened up massive doors for us. Recently, at the start of this year, they have actually co-branded the ClearSign technology, and they are now promoting ClearSign products under the Zeeco name. So that relationship has been fundamental to our progress over the years. We've developed commercial products. We've got some very significant orders out. We've continued to develop products. We've recently launched a M-Series product that opened up the gas industry to us. We've just finished a Department of the Energy SBIR project and developed a flexible fuel burner that is very, very recent. I believe that's got enormous potential for ClearSign. I think also critical in moving to Tulsa, we've been able to hire truly some of the world's world-class expertise in this industry. These are not just great people in town. These are world-known names. I believe that's bringing a lot of confidence in ClearSign. It's allowed us to develop the technology we have, and I think it's led to a lot of the customer engagement and really accelerated the growth of ClearSign as a business.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize that there was such a high concentration of the industry in Oklahoma. And we've been speaking with a number of companies recently, and I can think of top of my head like 3 or 4 that have been within the last year moved to Oklahoma because they're just finding that the environment there is just so supportive for what they're going after. So it's interesting to hear that's important spot for your company as well. And you talked earlier about the other opportunities that are out there, and I understand that you are developing burners that are capable of running on 100% hydrogen. How significant is that opportunity for you?
So I need to explain this, but it is huge. So, we've heard a lot in the US that the decarbonization and the opportunity to burn 100% hydrogen is something that we talk about maybe in the future, but there are not a lot of applications today, if any, burning 100% hydrogen. The reason this is really important for us is the refineries and the petrochemical plant use the waste gases that come off their process as their fuels, right? It's not natural gas. The fuel systems through the refineries is a blend of everything that comes off their process, and that can contain and swing up to an excess of 80% hydrogen. It can include propanes and butanes and any other hydrocarbon mix. It is absolutely random across different refineries what is in that fuel gas blend. So for us, developing a burner that goes from 100% natural gas all the way through to 100% hydrogen basically means that we've got a burner that handles the whole spectrum of those mixed fuel gases, and that has got massive attention. It's not specifically that there is a lot of demand for 100% hydrogen burners. It's having developed a product, and kudos to the SBIR for funding this work for us, and it's worked really well. But having developed a product that works from 100% natural gas to 100% hydrogen means that we've got a burner that will handle basically anything we can throw at it. And right at the end of this development project, we've had a very prominent chemical customer actually coming in and paying to have us run demonstrations of that burner over a whole battery of their global various fuels just to see how that burner worked. And it just ran through the entire thing because it's capable of going from one end of the spectrum all the way through to the other. So I'm really excited about this burner. I think it's a great platform for ClearSign. And I think the burner technology that we've developed to achieve this is a great platform for us to develop new products and get into new applications and really expand the market that we can address with our burners. This is something that's just been done right now, so that's what we're looking forward to in the future. But the burner testing is done, the product is proven, and it has been a huge success for us.
Okay, that sounds like some large potential upside there. So let's shift from the technology more to your business model and be interested to understand sort of, what drives your top line and your costs, in terms of the company's road to profitability. How should we think about that?
Yeah. So our company's from that perspective, our company's quite simple. I mentioned at the front that we've kept the company asset light, right? We focused on maintaining the technology level margins. We have the engineering in-house. We develop the products. We have a very robust IP portfolio, but the manufacturing, the testing, and we even leverage our clients as part of our sales channel. So the variable costs, if you like, are actually outsourced. We're able to collect cash early enough in our projects that our projects are actually self-funding. So we have the ability to take on big projects and not need capital to support those projects. So we have a controlled and minimal overhead. We have no significant capital expenditures that we're seeing. So for us, it's all about sales. And I can put a number to that. We have, right, looked at the cost of the company. We need about a run rate of 160 process burners a year for about $60 million in revenue for the company to break even, right? In terms of where we are on the development, in the last quarter, we have announced engineering for a 32 burner order for California, a 36 burner order going down into Texas. We've got a 26 burner order going actually due to be completed the next couple of weeks that's destined to go down to Texas. So just from those, if you look at the work that we have in progress right now, we've got about 100 burners worth there. So we're not to that break-even point yet, but I really believe that it is within reach.
And how about going forward from here, when you think about scaling up your operations, how should we think about, your financing and capital strategy to get there?
And first of all, as you mentioned at the start of this conversation, we are publicly traded, right? As of the last Q that we filed, we've got just over $10 million in the bank. So we've got plenty of cash to continue our operations, even without income from projects, which we clearly have income coming from projects. We don't have any significant capital expenditures in sight. As I mentioned, we're asset light. Our expansion will be done through more manufacturing through our partners, partners like Zeeco. So for us, yeah, the growth it's just about driving those sales.
Okay, got it. And so how about if we think about some of the key challenges that the company may face, whether that's market education, investor sentiment, supply chain risks, or any other challenges that you think would be worth sort of identifying here, and what initiatives have you taken to kind of overcome these challenges?
I think the first two there are very significant, and talk about this separately. The industries that we're selling into are right, necessarily very conservative, right? The engineers putting equipment to oil refineries don't do that lightly. They're slow to adopt new technology. And that's really been our goal. And we recognize that from the time that I took over the company. So getting equipment out into the field, getting those references, giving our customers confidence that we can deliver, that our products work, that they can trust us with their orders and with their right to provide solutions for their future needs is extremely important. I believe we are at a transition point. We have some significant orders out in the field now. We have two installations that the California regulators have used to reset their best available control technology definition, right? So we are recognized as providing the best available control technology. The 26 burner order I mentioned we're just about to complete, that is being done through probably the preeminent engineering company in the United States, going down to a global chemical company on the US Gulf Coast. So getting these installations out, seeing that we're able to execute on these projects and getting them started up is key to getting the trust of our customers. And I believe that as mentioned, the two engineering orders we picked up in the last quarter, right, from a super major oil refiner on another globally known oil refiner down in Texas, orders like that, I believe, are the result of us getting enough references and experience in the industry for our clients to have comms. So I think on the industrial side, the company is going through our transition. We're getting that recognition. And for the investors, no, I think this business is it's more complicated than some, and I think it takes some explaining for people to understand what we do and to come. So I really appreciate opportunities like this and the chance to talk about ClearSign and to explain how the industry works, what the dynamics are, and what we're doing as a company, and how we're addressing that. We are right generating revenue. We are consistently growing. The numbers are growing year by year. So for what do we do about it? We try and be as transparent as we can in our investor calls. We put out a lot of information. We put a lot of press releases out. We take opportunities like this. We are active in investor conferences. I would encourage anyone to follow us on social media, especially things like LinkedIn, because we can give more day-to-day updates on the individual orders. So from the investors, I believe we have a great story. What we try and do is just promote that and to get the word out. Those are the two big. I mean, the supply chain working with like global. I would love to be a supply chain problem with Zico. They are so huge, right? But that's the reason we moved to Tulsa. There are ample resources. There are numerous vendors here. Sweet. That for my focus right now, getting the company established in the industry, driving our sales, and then communicating with investors and helping the investors understand what we're doing as a company really are the key focus from that perspective.
Okay, got it. And it sounds like you've had, you mentioned quite a few orders that have been, coming in recently. And so if we start looking ahead into 2026 or over the next 12 months, what are some of the major milestones or key deliverables that you would suggest that investors should be focused on when they're looking at ClearSign?
Well, I would actually start with this year. I mean, we still got time. I've mentioned the 26 burner order that we're building. This is going to be a really big deal for ClearSign. This is a very technical project that I've seen the burners. We've tested and demonstrated the burners. I'm very excited to get these burners out into the industry. That project's on schedule. It's due to complete this year. So look out for that. It's important for two reasons. One is it's the equipment and what it is, but ClearSign, that's also driving revenue. We will recognize the revenue when that order is complete. It is a very large order. So in terms of the financials, that's going to have a big impact on our quarter and our yearly numbers. So look out for that. That will probably be a LinkedIn post, just the completion of that order, but certainly look out for that. We also have a new technology flare that's going through the startup process. It may be this year, it may be early next year, but that's starting up out in California. So those are on the immediate horizon. We have a lot of sales proposals. We're working with customers out there. So look for new orders coming in both the process burner and especially in the midstream, where we have a lot of equipment that we're talking about. We also have a lot of equipment that's been shipped out in the field waiting to start up. So look out for startups. That's increasing the reference list that we have out in the industry and the confidence that clients will have in for us. That is a very important part of growing our business. For me personally, my side, this new burner I'm really excited about this new burner. I think what we can do with this, demonstrating that to customers, expanding the range of the projects that we can pursue with this new technology and getting this new burner out into the industry. I think this is going to be a very, very big deal for ClearSign and a huge opportunity for us to grow the business and get a lot of confidence from our customers when they see what this new burner can do.
Okay, it sounds like a transformational opportunity there. And we've really covered quite a lot today, Jim, very comprehensive. I just wanted to ask, in conclusion here, is there anything else that we might have missed? Perhaps anything you'd like to highlight from the third quarter results or even just any concluding remarks you'd like to make?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I really appreciate the opportunity, Peter. It's great talking to you and for Tim. This is very much appreciated. I think for anyone, if I can, just for somebody looking at ClearSign who's not used to the story, I'd encourage you to look back over and to see our trajectory and really look at what we've done over the past 5 years. Now look at the increasing installations. That's key for the industry. We've expanded the collaboration and our sales channels to our partners. and also the rollout of new products. I mean, with the M series burner out into the midstream, the new burner, especially that I've talked about here, the flexible fuel 100% hydrogen burner, and what we do with that. You mentioned the financials. I think there's a good point there. Our third quarter financials had some decent revenue, just over $1 million. But I think what's good to bring up there, that within there was the breadth of our product line, but also very importantly, about $500,000 actually came from aftermarket sales. That's an extremely important part of our business that's often missed. So earlier we talked about the market for new equipment getting out there. All of this equipment is going into a very intense environment. It's going to fired heaters, it needs maintenance, and it needs parts. And as you get more equipment out in the field, that aftermarket business continues to grow. About $500,000 of that $1 million was actually aftermarket. So even now at this very early stage, we're getting significant aftermarket business. From my experience and my prior life as well, that aftermarket becomes a very important part of the combustion industry. And from a income and project margin perspective. So I think as an investor looking at the company, be aware that every time we send an order out, that's not only an individual order, it's also a source of ongoing aftermarket business that is high margin and very important to ClearSign. And then finally, just looking forward to the year end. We've got to complete this order. It's on track. Doing that, the revenue of this project, again, will give us a record quarter for ClearSign. I expect will also give us a record year. So it will continue to demonstrate the growth of ClearSign.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Jim, thank you so much for your time today and guiding us through the outlook for ClearSign. You've got technologies with demonstrated value to your customers and a very big addressable market. I know the story is going to resonate well with the investors who are listening in. We hope you'll come back and join us for an event in the future.
Yeah, Peter, I'm very happy to talk about ClearSign. It was great talking to you this morning. I'll be very happy to continue this story.
Okay,
Jim,
thank you very much. Tim, over to you.
Thanks, Peter. Jim, thank you so much for joining us today. You definitely gave investors several compelling reasons to take a look at ClearSign. And Peter, thanks for your time and thoughtful questions as well. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, as well as visiting www.watertowerresearch.com to stay up to speed on the company's small cap written research reports, podcasts, fireside chats, industry-specific symposiums, and conference schedules. We will see you next time for another edition of the WTR Small Cap Spotlight podcast. Finally, a special thanks to the producer and editor of the podcast, Krista Fitzpatrick.